Good morning, learners. This is Mr. Andile Zondi, your math teacher, from last week and this week. Unfortunately, this is my last week, but we'll discuss that later. I'm teaching you grade 8 maths, and we're continuing where we left off yesterday. If you recall, we're looking at multiplying integers with nomials, binomials, and trinomials. For today's lesson, we're looking at dividing. So we're dividing integers on nomials, binomials, and trinomials. And before I carry on, let me just remind you, learners, that you can post your questions via the chat. For the last 10 minutes of the lesson, I'll set aside 10 minutes to answer your questions, only if they're posted on your chat. Okay, now remember we are using these laws: distributive law, associative law, and commutative law. If you've forgotten that, just go back to a few lessons, then you'll be refreshed. Okay, now when it comes to dividing or division, let me just give you a few examples before I carry on. If I have, for example, 10 divided by 2, for simplicity, I'll be saying 10, or the answer will be 5. But if I have a number like 3 divided by 2, right? I'll leave it in this format. In other words, I won't write it as a mixed fraction, and I won't write it as a decimal. I won't say it one. Okay, so I'll just leave it as 2. Okay, that's keep this is correct, but I'm not using this format for fractions. I'm not using this format. Right? I'm not using mixed fractions. I'm not using decimal fractions. Right? Just keep that in mind. Okay, now let's carry on. Okay, now looking at the laws. Yesterday we looked at these laws. We looked at multiplying, multiplication, division, raising to a power, raising two numbers that are multiplied by each other to a number, and a base to a power 0, which is 1. For today's lesson, we're looking at this law. Okay, for example, let's say my A is equal to 2. Let's say my M is equal to 4. And my N is equal to 3. Okay, how would I solve this? Basically, what I'll do, where I see A, I'll substitute A by 2. So it will be 2 to the power M. What is my M? My M is 4. So 2 to the power 4 divided by my A is 2 again. It will be 2 to the power, what is my N? My N is 3, 2 to the power 3, right? According to this law, right, I can rewrite this as one base. In my example, my base is a 2. And I can divide my powers, or I can divide I can subtract my powers. If I'm dividing, right, I'll subtract powers. So it will be 4 less 3. So 4 subtract 3 is 1. So it will be 2 to the power 1, right? Okay, I think this is simple enough. Let me give you another example. Okay, let's say again my A is 2. So A is equal to 2. Now let me swap it around. Let me say my M is equal to 3. and my n is equal to 4. Okay. So when I carry on, it will be something like, it will be according to this rule. So
dan 32.
to the power, I can hear you. And so my m in my second example is 3. So 2 to the power 3, right? Divided by, remember I can write in this format as well. I can say divided by my a again is 2. There it is. So I can say divided by 2 to the power. What is my n? My n for my second example is 4. Okay, so I can write this is with one base. I can write this as one base according to the rule. So my base is 2. Then I can say m, my m is 3 and my n is 4. So I can say 3 less 4. Okay. So obviously our answer will be a negative number. So 3 minus 4, answer is -1. Answer is -1, right? But this can also be written as 1 over 2, right? But for now, I want you guys to stick to this. Right? If you understand this, then everything will go fine. Okay. Why is this the same? Remember here the power is 1, right? So if it goes up, it become -1 to be 2 to the power -1. Okay, now let's carry on. Okay, we're looking at a couple of examples. Okay, learners, for your own sake, please do these examples with me. Right. Let's start with the first one. The first one, the question says, complete the following examples using the law. So they want you to use the law. Right. Remember, sometimes you can solve these sums without using the law, but in this case, they want you to use the law. Right. Remember, I can say, for example, a squared divided by a, right? According to the law, this will be a to the power 2 minus 1, right? Which is actually equal to a to the power 1, which is the same as saying just a, right? I can use this fashion, or I can write this in this format. I can say it's actually a times a. I'm sure some learners are familiar with both methods, divided by a. Okay, where does these two a's come from? They come from a squared. Remember, a squared is a times a. It's not a times 2, it's a times a. And then obviously in this case, your denominator is only 1a. So I can simplify this by cancelling out. Right? You can see that 1a from the numerator cancels the a that is on your denominator. So your answer will be a. But for these questions, I want you to use the rule. I want you to use the above, not the one below, right? Okay, for the first one, 25a to the power 6 divided by 5a to the power 2, right? Okay, now here the clue is, if I do this one, I'll give learners an opportunity to work through it first. I'll first divide the numbers by themselves, then we'll divide the variables by themselves. Okay. Okay, I'll give you 20 seconds to do number A, right? 25a to the power 6 divided by 5a to the power 2, right? We have 15 seconds left. As you can, because you have 10 seconds remaining, right? You have 5 seconds now, and your time is up, right? Obviously, I might look at your answers later, but just write your answers on your chat. Okay, so for the first one, A, 25 always rewrite the question from the question paper to your answering paper divided by 5a squared. Okay. Now, according to the rule, because I'm dividing, I need to subtract the powers. I can only subtract the powers if the bases are the same. Learners, are the bases the same? Yes, the bases are the same. Our base in this case is A. You can see A in your denominator and your numerator. So what is 25 divided by 5? 25 divided by 5, correct. The answer is 5. 25 divided by 5 is 5. Right.
Sorry,
And then,
teacher, could you slow down,
yes,
please? Could
slow
you
down.
please slow down?
Okay, I'll do that. Okay, so 25 divided by 5 is 5, right? And then we are dividing the A's, right? So in this case, because I'm using the rule, I'll say A. Because I'm dividing, what do I do to the powers according to the rule, right? If I'm dividing, right, the powers must be subtracted from one another. So I'll have 6. Okay, there's a 6. Subtract 2 according to the rule. Why? Because I was dividing, right, the terms. I need to subtract the powers. Okay, so now the answer will be, obviously, your 5 stays the same. What is 6 minus 2? 6 minus 2. Obviously, the answer should be 4. So it's A to the power 4. Okay. So that is your answer to the first one. Right. Simple. Okay. Now, a very nice activity at B. Right. Before I continue, for your own enrichment, I need you learners to first do B before I continue. Right. I'll give you a minute. You can start right now, right? It basically says 26a to the power 5 times b to the power 5 can be written as 26a to the power 5, I mean b to the power 7, divided by 13a to the power 3 and b to the power 4. Sometimes I'll say a cubed, sometimes I'll say a squared. So you need to understand the terminology used in this section, right? Okay, we have half a minute remaining, right? Half a minute to solve B for me, right? Okay, just look at your rule and apply your rule. I need to see this step. 20 seconds left. Okay, 20 seconds to do B for me. Only 20 seconds to do B for me, right? Your 10 seconds is now 20 seconds, now 10 seconds. So you should be rounding off, right? Okay, I know I've given you little time, but I don't have much time for this lesson. Okay, let me see how you did. Okay, so in this case, remember I like to rewrite my questions in this format. So 26a to the power 5, the 5 must be small, learners, and b to the power 7, okay, divided by 13 and a to the power 3, b to the power 4, right? Okay, before you continue, always recheck that you've copied it correctly, because if you copy it wrongly, everything will be wrong, right? Okay, now we need to divide the like terms together, right? The values together, a's together, b's together, right? Okay, so what we'll do, I'll say 26 divided by 13, right? Then I'll say, according to the rule, if I'm dividing similar bases must subtract their powers. So in this case, it will be 5 subtract what, learners? Yes, subtract 3. So 5 subtract 3. There's your 5 on top. There's your 3 at the bottom, right? Now I need to look at A's, right? So B is now. So for B, okay, dividing what we are doing to powers, the powers, also known as exponents, must be subtracted according to the law, right? So I'll have 7 subtract 4. Okay. Now, what is my final answer? 26 divided by 13. What is your answer, learners? Answer should have been 2. Okay, now this one, 5, the power 5 subtract 3. What is 5 minus 3? 5 minus 3, answer should be 2. Okay, good. Good, learners. I know this is easy for you. And now let's look at B. For B, I'm subtracting powers as well. So it is 7 subtract 4. 7 subtract 4. Answer should have been 3. So that is your answer, right? That is your answer. Okay. I think this was a simple question, right? But should you have any specific question, I'll answer your question at the end. Okay, next one. Okay, this one is very nice and challenging, right? This one is very, very nice and challenging, right? Okay, again, I want to give you guys time to redo these questions, right? Okay, I'm giving you a minute for A and B, but for now, we're doing A. I'm giving you exactly 1 minute. Please give me the answer to A, which says 5 times x to the power 9, or simply written as 5x to the power 9 divided by 5a to the power 7, right? I'm giving you now have about 30 seconds remaining, right, to finish A, right? A is actually easy, so you should be done, right? You should be done, okay? For those who are still working through A, you have about 10 seconds remaining, right? Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, your time is up. Okay, now let's look at your answers. Okay, now notice they've written 5 to the power 9 divided by 5x to the power 7 in this format. Obviously, I like this format. It's easy to see what is being divided by what. Right. Okay, so in this case, 5 divided by 5. 5 divided by 5, your answer will be 1. Right, 5 divided by 5 is 1. Right. Okay, we're dividing x's, x and x. What do we do? Okay, if the base is the same, in this case it's x. What do you do to powers? Excellent, powers must be subtracted. So it will be 1x and 9 subtract 7. 9 less 7. Okay, now what is your final answer? Now in maths, because we have 1 in front of the x, we don't write it, right? It's like saying 1 apple and apple, the same thing. If there's 1 apple and if you say it's apple, you mean the same thing. So in this case, x, we are leaving out the 1. 9 subtract 7. 9 minus 7. The answer should have been 2. 9 minus 7 is 2. Okay, so the first one was easy. I think I gave you too much time to do this one. Okay, here's the second one. Second one, again, you can start now. I'm giving you 1 minute to do B. 1 minute to do B, right? Okay, here B says 9x to the power 6 divided by a negative. Now notice here you have a negative, right? Negative. Okay, 3 to the power 3 times x to the power 4. Right? Okay. By the way, before you carry on, let us just revise a few things. Division. Let's revise division. Okay. Division. Okay, this will help you a lot. Okay. Okay, if for example, I'm dividing a positive number divided by a positive number, your answer will be positive. Right? For example, 2 divided by 2, answer is 1, which is positive. Okay, now let's look at the second example. Now, if I'm dividing a negative, okay, a negative divided by positive, right? A negative value divided by a positive value. For example, negative 2 divided by 2, right? Your answer is negative 1, right? So your answer is, in this case, it is negative. Answer in this case is negative, right? If you're dividing a negative and a positive, your answer is negative, right? Okay, let me just clear up some space. Okay, now let's say, okay, hopefully I'm not moving too fast for you learners. Okay, now let's say I'm dividing. Here's a third way this can be asked. Let's say I'm dividing a positive number divided by a negative number, right? For example, maybe 2 divided by negative 1, right? 2 divided by negative 1. Obviously, how many times does 1 go into 2? It goes 2 times, but your answer will be negative. In other words, if you have a negative or a positive, either on your numerator or your denominator, your answer will be negative. Answer is negative, right? And lastly, a fourth way this can be asked is, let's say I have a negative value, right, divided by another negative value, negative divided by a negative, right? For example, negative 2 divided by negative 1, right? The negative cancel each other out. You're left with positive. So your answer will be positive, right? So there are actually 2 cases where you can get a positive answer. If a negative number is divided by a negative number, the answer will be positive. If a positive number is divided by a positive number, your answer will be positive. So keep that in mind. But if there's a negative and a positive together, if you're dividing those, right, in any form, whether it's negative divided by positive or positive divided by negative, your answer will be negative, right? Okay, now I'm sure you're done with this sum. Okay, let's look at your answers. Okay. Now for this one, we have positive there, even though it's not written. The 9 is positive. So positive divided by negative. Learners, what is your answer? Positive divided by negative. The answer will be, which sign will have a negative sign? So the answer will be negative. Remember, positive divided by negative, answer is negative, right? And now let me divide the values. 9 divided by 3, right? How many times does 3 go into 9? It goes 3 times. So that is 3, negative 3. Now let's look at your x is, right? Okay, x to the power 6 divided by x to the power 4. According to the rule, what must you do to the powers? Learners, you must subtract. Okay, so if you're dividing the same base, the base must be the same. The powers can be subtracted. So it will be 6 minus 4, right? 6 minus 4. Right. So here your answer will be negative 3 and x. Okay, 6 minus 4, answer is 2. Answer is 2. Okay, this one is simple as well. Okay, C and D, they look challenging. They look like they're difficult, right? But if you follow the same rules, this would be easy, right? Same rules, this will be easy, right? But let me give you a clue here. Let me give you a clue, because now notice you have a binomial divided by a monomial, right? Here you have 2 terms divided by 1 term. Okay, what do you do in this case? I'll start it off for you, then you'll do the rest. You must say 10 to the power x, sorry, 10, sorry, times x to the power 7, right? The negative 2x to the power 3 is dividing both these values, right? So divided by negative 2x to the power 3. Okay. Okay, obviously this and that. And in between the 10x to the power 7 and the 8x to the power 5, we have a negative sign, right? So you need to carry it on. So there's a negative sign. And then I have 8x to the power 5, right? Okay, there it is. Remember, both these values, both these terms are divided by negative 2x to the power 3. Okay, so I need to divide here as well. I'll divide by negative 2x to the power 3. Okay. Okay, now let us, I've started this question for you, question C. I need you guys to carry on. Again, I'll give you a minute, right? Please use my time, given time to complete number C. The better the more you work, the better you understand, right? So practice makes perfect. Right? By the way, if you can master this, you won't have a problem later when you're doing maths, grade 10, 11, and 12, right? Because this will be required of you. Okay, 20 seconds left. 20 seconds left. 10 seconds remaining. 10 seconds left.
Teacher, the attendees
Yes.
are requesting that you go a bit slower. Explain a bit slower, please.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll try my best, my utmost best. Okay. Okay, now let's carry on. Okay, remember this first part came from the 10 times x to the power 7 divided by negative 2x to the power 3. Right. So let me first solve this first part. Okay, just compare your answers to my answers. Okay. Okay, now, okay, what is positive divided by negative? Positive divided by negative, learners. Okay. If you're not sure, that is positive divided by negative. So your answer will be negative. Right. So the first term will be negative. Then I have 10 divided by 2. 10 divided by 2. What is 10 divided by 2? 10 divided by 2 is 5. So positive 10 divided by negative 2, the answer is negative 5. Okay. Hopefully you guys are understanding where the negative 5 came from, right? 10, which is a positive, divided by 2, which is a negative. Answer is negative 5. Okay. Now we're looking at the x, which is your variable, right? We are dividing x to the power 7 divided by x to the power 3. Now, when you're dividing, what do you do to your powers, right? Remember, for this rule to be valid, to be applicable, the bases must be the same. In this case, the base is x and x. Okay, so in this case, it will be x. We need to subtract 7 and 3 because we're dividing x on both sides, the numerator and the denominator. So I'll have 7 minus 3. Okay, 7 minus 3, right? And then don't forget this sign, this negative sign, it's minus. Okay. Okay, learners, what is positive 8 divided by, in this case, because I've already written the negative, so the negative, I'm not including it in this calculation. So positive 8 divided by negative 2, right? The answer is supposed to be negative 4, right? Because this is a negative and a negative. In order for me to not confuse myself, I'll place a bracket in front like that. Okay. Okay. If you've forgotten how this came about, right? Looking at this, positive 8, positive. So positive divided by negative, positive divided by negative, positive divided by negative. Answer is negative. And then 8 divided by 2, answer is 4. Okay. Okay, now let's look at the x's, right? Your x. Okay, x. Something is happening here. Khaldi.
Yes, teacher.
Can I carry on? Can I carry on?
Sure, you can.
Carry on? Okay. For some reason, I was on hold. I don't know why. Okay, now let us carry on. So in this case, it's okay. In this case, it is 5 subtract 3, right? According to the rule. So it's 5 minus 3. Okay. This is the same 5, that is. And this is the same 3, that is, right? Okay. Why are you subtracting? Because your rules subtract the powers rather. Okay, okay, let me just carry on. Okay, now, oops. Maybe I'm touching somewhere I shouldn't be touching. But okay, let's carry on. Here, negative 5, there it is. Okay, what is 7 minus 3? 7 minus 3. 7 minus 3, answer is 4. So 7 minus 3, answer is 4, right? Now notice I have a negative. The bracket represents a multiplication. So if I have negative and a bracket and a negative, this can be written as negative times a negative. Okay, remember in yesterday's lesson, I said if you multiply a negative and a negative, right, what happens? Remember the law of distribution, right? You need to multiply negative. In this case, this can be written as negative 1 multiplied by a negative 4, right? So negative times a negative, answer will be positive. Negative times a negative, answer is positive, right? So it's positive 4, right? So negative and negative gave you a positive, and then positive 4. Okay, and then you have x. Okay, what is 5 minus 3? 5 minus 3, answer will be 2. Okay, so that is That is your answer, right? That is your answer. Okay, I'll give you maybe a minute to. Okay, I actually don't have much time, right? I actually don't have much time. But in this case, I'll start this question for you. So this can be written as, then I'll ask questions. If there are no questions, I'll continue, right? This can be written as, okay, you take this and you divide, right? So you can write 20 to the power 5 divided by 5x to the power 4, right? Subtract 15x to the power 4, right? So here you're dividing by 5x to the power 4, right? Plus 10x to the power 6. Again, each and every value is divided by 5x to the power 4, right? Okay, I'm just doing this to simplify space, to save space. I'm removing the 5x to the power 4 because I've already divided each and every term by 5x to the power 4. Okay, now since I have 10 minutes remaining, before I continue, I want to check if there are any questions with learners. My producer will help me, right? She'll help me and tell me if there are any questions, right? Producer, are there any questions from the learners thus far?
Teacher, first question.
Yes.
What is
Yes.
a linear equation?
What is a linear equation? Okay, very good question. Okay, even though we're not looking at linear equations here, a linear equation is an equation that you can use to draw a straight line, right? A linear equation is an equation that you can use to draw a straight line, right? Usually it is in this format. Maybe x plus 1, right? Now, why is the line straight? The line is straight because this term can increase by increments of 1. So same difference will give you a straight line, right? Let me just say, for example, y is equal to x plus 1. So this is a linear equation because we can use this equation to draw a line. So let's say this is your y, you know that, and this is your x, right? So in order for me to plot the values for this line, right, I can say maybe if y is 1, what is x, right? So if y is 1, okay, 2. Even though this is not part of this section, if y is 1, what is x? Okay, let me just write like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let me rephrase my question. If x is 1, what is y, right? So in this case, it will be 1 plus 1. Answer will be 2, right? So the 1 and the 2 go together, right? If x is 2, what is y? So it will be 2 plus 1, which is 3, right? So if x is 2, what is y? Y is 3. So now notice I'm using now these values, my x values and my y values, to plot the graph. But learners, if I'm confusing you, don't worry, because we're not here yet. If x is 1, y is 2. Okay. If x is 2, y is 3. Okay. If x is 3, y is 4, right? Because these values are increasing in equal increments. If I plot my points and I join the dots, it will be a straight line. But don't worry about this question, because this has nothing to do with what we're doing now, right? Okay, let me just stop there. If you are confused by this, don't worry. In due time, we'll look at equations, linear equations, and so on. Okay, producer, is there any other question?
Sir, there is another question about the work you're doing today. The anonymous says, please, sir, can you go back to the rule because I didn't understand. And
Okay,
he
back to the
says,
rule.
I haven't been taught any of this yet.
Okay. Okay. This is an excellent question. Let me go back to the rule because the rule is important. If you know the rule, everything becomes easy. Okay, let me just go over the rule again so that Anonymous can maybe understand better how to apply this rule. Remember, yesterday we were looking at the first rule. Today we're looking at the second rule. Okay, let me try to make some space. Okay, let me do maybe a couple of examples. Because if you don't understand the rule, then you can't answer these questions. Okay, let me give you a few more examples. Right, here is the rule that you're looking at. This second one. I look at dividing. Okay, let's say I have A could be anything, right? It could be a number, it could be a letter. Let's say A is equal to a number, right? I want you guys to work with numbers so that you can see exactly why the left-hand side is equal to the right-hand side. Let's say A is 2, okay? And M, right? M, let's say M is 4, okay? I could have chosen any number, but I like to work with simple numbers. And N, let's say N is equal to 3, right? Okay. Now, according to the rule, what I have on the left, A to the power M divided by A to the power N is equal to A to the power M minus N. Okay, let's prove that. Let me first start with the first part. Okay, in this example, okay, sorry, here, this is A. Oh, this is A. A is 2. Okay, so all I do, I'll say 2 plus A is 2 to the power 4, right? Divided by, there's a division sign, divided by A. What is my A? A is 2 to the power N, right? What is my N? N is 3. Then just keep in mind, I just made up these numbers. So don't be confused. Don't ask me where does the 2 come from and the 4. I just made these numbers for an example, for the example. Okay, now I don't have much time, but let me just finish off this. Okay. What is A 2 to the power 4? 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. So this is 16. Right, divided by. Okay, 2 to the power 3. What is 2 to the power 3? It's 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. Right? So 16 divided by 2. So the 16 divided by 8 and that's 2. Right? According to the rule, the rule says this is equal to the same base. In this case, our base is 2 to the power M minus 4. So our base is 2. There it is. Our M is 4. Our N is 3. Right? So what is, okay, the base stays the same. What is 4 minus 3? 4 minus 3 is 1. 2 to the power 1, answer is 2. 2 to the power 1 is 2. Right? Remember, 2 to the power 2 is 2 times 2. 2 to the power 3 is 2 times 2 times 2. Okay, so that's how we conclude today's lesson. I have maybe a minute or so remaining. If you are new to this, just practice as much as possible. Look over this video again. It will help you a lot. Also go through your workbooks. That are given to you from school. Those are very, very good. Okay. Now, okay, these are my solutions. Okay. Try to work through D, right, as part of your homework, right? And then again, I've already prepared homework for you, right? If you are able to, right? I think if you go to the website, I think this is up. Today's homework is up. I'm not sure, but if it is not up, go through this video and work through these questions, right? As part of your homework, right? Okay, that is where our lesson ends. And just to finish off, please memorize this law, right? Please memorize this law and know it off by heart, right? Because everything will become simple if you know this law, right? Okay, for other useful links, there are math workbooks, right, on this site. And I think there are Sasol Inzalo books, right? They are very, very helpful as well, right? Next lesson will be revising multiplication and division, right? Tomorrow we're revising both multiplication and we're looking at division, right? All in one lesson, because it is not easy. But catch me tomorrow, same time, same place for more information. Please look at these links. Info for more information at africateengeeks.co.za. You can go to our website www.africateengeeks.co.za. You can follow us on Facebook, and you can follow us on YouTube and Twitter. Okay, thank you very, very much. I'll see you guys again tomorrow, same place, same time. Bye.